All right. Well, I think we're live. We're just going to make sure we got the camera set up here.
Perfect.
So while we're doing that, Brenna, tell me a little story.
A story.
Yeah, tell me a story.
Well, I don't know if there's a story, but I'm excited that today is officially our last day of Whole 30. So pretty stoked about that.
Yeah, I've been counting down the days since we started 30 days ago.
Since like day 29, or day 2.
Yeah, so for those that don't know Whole 30, why don't you give us the crash course of what we've been suffering through for the last 30 days?
Yeah, so I'm probably going to butcher it a little bit as far as the technical definition, but basically it's paleo on steroids. So it's no processed foods, no sugars, no carbs, except for fruit. So, but we can't have rice or grains or juices or anything like that. So just a lot of healthy meats and vegetables and fruits. And that's about it. So Matt's missing his ice cream and basically his normal diet.
Yeah, my normal diet of ice cream. I like my breads, my simple
Cereal.
Cereal. It's very simple and easy in the morning.
Yeah.
The alcohol, I think, is what has shocked a lot of our friends during this COVID shutdown.
Yeah.
That seems to be a staple for a number of people that we've been talking to. A lot of people are sharing. They don't know how we're surviving through this COVID shutdown without the alcohol. That's actually not been the biggest challenge.
No, and honestly, the reason I wanted to do it during the shutdown or the lockdown, whatever you want to call it, is because I don't know if I'm like anyone else, but I'm working from home and I just kept finding myself in front of the pantry for no apparent reason. Didn't matter if I'd eaten 5 minutes ago, 5 hours ago, just kept ending up in front of the pantry. So I didn't want to gain the COVID-19. So that was kind of my inspiration, but I am definitely looking forward to a glass of wine tomorrow night.
Yeah, and good news is we both have shed some weight from all of this.
Yep.
I had no expectation of shedding weight. I think I lost about 12 pounds or so.
Yeah.
And Brenna, you had some success with it as well.
Yeah, about 10 pounds. So
yeah.
At least it's worth it on that side.
Hopefully it's not the yo-yo back for us once I start consuming all of the ice cream again.
Yeah, totally.
For me, kind of good news is I'm finally getting my hair cut on Friday and I can limit this Seth Rogen do that I have going on.
I think this is the first time you haven't worn a hat in like 2 weeks.
It's been longer than that, yeah. The hat has become a staple of my wardrobe, mostly because the hair gets so curly and there's a in-between phase where it looks really bad. And I'm kind of in that phase right now. So getting my hair cut Friday, I'll be back to my normal look. Excited about that. Other big news in our world, little man has started walking.
Yeah.
Actually, he started taking some steps. So he's up to about 17 steps.
Yeah, now that we're counting. But yes.
We're definitely competitive in counting.
Yeah, about a week ago, he took a couple steps and I was like, oh, it'll be a while, no big deal. And that's not the case. He now loves it and falls down, gets right back up, falls down, gets right back up, and just wants to keep trying. So that's pretty cool to see. And as many of my wise mamas have told me, my life is about to change. So we've already done some baby proofing, but obviously we'll have to go next level with it because not only is he now walking, he is also a climber. So say a little prayer for us on that.
Yeah, so we did find out the stove has a security setting.
Yeah.
So if he starts messing around with it, it's not going to turn the stove on and burn the house down, which is really a positive. Yeah, we kind of like the house.
Yeah.
So now as we jump into real estate and the market, there's some things I think we were expecting to see and some things maybe we didn't expect to see. So as far as our real estate market here in the Denver metro area, well, before we jump there, let's back up. Again, for those that don't know you, why don't you give an introduction as to who you are work-wise,
Okay.
so that folks know just kind of what qualifies you to provide some of the information.
Yeah, so I am Brenna Harper with Land Title Guarantee Company. So we are a title, closing, and insurance company. So we pull stats for the greater Metro Denver area, the 7 major counties, every month, just to give you an update on what's going on in the market, and kind of what to expect, what we've seen, different trends and things like that. So our clients and the general public can be the educated, and the agents especially can really be those real estate experts to help guide you through the biggest transaction of your life. So we've been doing this kind of monthly as an update. Last month we did the update, and we were right in the middle of our stay at home. But so we're talking about April numbers today. So last month we were talking about March. So everything looked fine. It looked hunky-dory, but we knew what we were in the middle of. And so everyone's kind of been waiting on these April numbers, like what's happening, what's going on, a lot of question on that. So, you know, like you were mentioning, some of the stuff we expected, and then there was also some promising things. So I'll kind of just go through a rundown. As far as the things that we expected, listings are down 16.39% year over year. So obviously not as many people are wanting to sell their homes, because up until April 27th, you were not allowed to show homes for about a month, 3 weeks.
It was interesting, you know, the information came out and it was, hey, you can't do anything, to know you're still considered an essential business, to know here's what this looks like. So it was really a roller coaster of what are we allowed to do, what aren't we allowed to do. And it was really clear, I think, the last 2 weeks that no in-person showings, and that was the information that they finally came out and said. So that was hugely helpful, just to have the standard of, hey, here's what you can't do, here's what you can't do. But.
Yep. So that, just over 5,900 homes listed puts us just over 1 month supply of inventory. So like we've talked about before, depending on where exactly you look, in that 4 to 6 month mark would be a balanced market. So obviously with these numbers, 1-2 months, extreme sellers market. So pretty much what we expected. The pending or under contract number was down 48%. Which is obviously huge. And some of that because under contract follows listings. So that one was huge because it had a little bit more time from March. So people were starting to pull listings in March. We saw maybe a little bit of that. So that number is really reflected. And then closed or sold homes down 25%. So those all kind of make sense if you think about it, what the state of what's going on. You know, people not wanting to be out of their house, only a lot more people buying and selling out of necessity versus want. But there were some promising things. So sales price is actually up year over year. So in detached or homes that like single family homes, not townhomes or condos, was up 0.1%. And then attached is up 2.7. So I think that's important. You know, a lot of people are asking, you know, what's the value of my house going to do? What's my equity going to do? Is it a good time to sell? Is it a good time to buy? So that is promising that in spite of a pandemic, we're still up year over year. Obviously 0.1%, not huge, but I'd rather it go that way than any way in the opposite. So we see that as a positive for sure.
But I think a lot of folks are fearful that we're going to see what happened in 2008 happen again, and that homes are going to just plummet. We're going to see short sales and foreclosures coming again. Foreclosure is probably a real possibility depending on the folks and their job situation. You know, when you have lost income, that leads to it. But as far as values, we're not seeing the values plummet like we did then. No. What caused the housing collapse here about 12 years ago is not the information that we're seeing right now. Right. Really, one of the leading indicators for the shifting market is the number of showings. When the number of showings dramatically drop off, the real estate market starts to see a trend and a shift downwards. Now, there was some really interesting news, and I don't think it surprised us necessarily, other than just the large aspect there of the numbers. So what did the company research and what did you see for showings in particular during the last 45 days roughly?
Yeah, so April 20th, so the week before the Safer at Home order went into place, which allowed for showings on April 27th, in 11 Metro Denver counties, there were 1,600 showings for the whole week. So obviously that's really low.
And that's the final week of the stay at home. You're not allowed to go anywhere. And those 1,600 showings were after the property went under contract. Real estate agents, following the rules, following the laws, they're getting under contract before they're going to go see the property during their inspection period. So obviously a dramatic reduction there from what it normally would have been. But what did we see after?
So that next week, starting April 27th, we saw 23,600 and a few homes showed. So obviously there was some pent-up demand, but that is a massive increase and a great leading indicator for what we're going to continue to see, because obviously people were following the rules and they're taking it seriously. But now that we have, and I'll let you speak to it in a minute about some of the rules that are still in place for showings, but that's a massive number. So then we were like, okay, well, that's a massive number, but maybe that's just because everyone's been waiting to see these homes. Well, last week, May 4th, we saw 24,700. So almost exactly 1,000 more showings than the week before. So another big number, and we're still increasing. So yes, a little bit of pent-up demand still, but it wasn't like, oh, it went up to 25, 24, and then back down to 12, because there just wasn't enough for people to see. So people are out there, they're looking at homes, they're ready to buy, and that's promising, I think.
Well, I think very